It's time for
DodgerHeads. What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads Live, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Medium Large Sports Network. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined tonight by Blake Williams for the final DodgerHeads Live of 2025 before, we wait a few days and do one of these in 2026. Blake, it's good to have you on the show. Happy Tuesday evening to you, my friend.
Yeah, it's been a bit since I've been on. I've been handling all the website stuff, and we've had kind of a set schedule for a bit of other people being on here, so yeah, been a bit.
I have to start here, Blake. Kirby Yates to the Angels. Are you going to be okay knowing that he will not be a Dodger next year?
I'll be okay. I wish him well. Hope he does well. It was a rough season for him all around. Great guy, though. So, yeah, hope he does well.
I'll be honest, I couldn't believe he got $5 million. I just assumed his career was over with.
I mean, teams are always desperate to find relievers, and especially with how volatile they are. He was a former top closer in the league, so hope you find something there. It's a solid flyer for them. I mean, good for the Angels for spending a little money.
There you go. And you know what? Nothing can tear down Angels fans today because Anthony Rendon is officially gone. And my buddy, it's like, I needed some good news today. Well, there you go. Jedi Engineer said, happy birthday to Sandy Koufax. We got you a World Series win for your 90th birthday. I don't know if you got a chance, Blake, to watch like the 6-minute video that Tom Verducci and MLB Network put together. It's just as a reminder when you hear these Sandy Koufax stats of how absurd it was. He missed game 1 of the World Series because it was on Yom Kippur and then proceeded to pitch in 4 of the next 6 games. He pitched the final game. It was like 132 pitches on 2 days rest. Won the ERA title 4 years in a row. Like the Sandy Koufax numbers are bonkers.
Yeah, he was incredible. Never got to see him pitch, of course, and I didn't get to see that 6-minute video yet. But yeah, he's one of the all-time greats for sure.
It's crazy to think that the Dodgers got Kershaw and Sandy Koufax. For one reason, it gives me and my dad something to argue about as far as who is the greatest Dodgers pitcher of all time. You can guess on age lines who is arguing for who in these circumstances. But the fact that 2 of the greatest left-handed pitchers of all time both are Dodgers, and 2 of the greatest pitchers of all time in Kershaw and Koufax, 2 of the best people, like guys that you didn't have to worry about off the field, all that stuff. So I'm hoping selfishly, Blake, that Kershaw has a lifetime involvement in the Dodgers like Koufax does. I know he doesn't live in LA. He likely will never live in LA. I just hope he's around a little bit like Koufax is. It's crazy to think he's 90. And the video basically made the point he might be like the what they say, the old, like the best living legend still alive or something like that. So crazy stuff. Happy 90th birthday to Sandy Koufax. As always, thanks to folks joining us live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. We appreciate all of you. Some stuff to get to tonight. We're going to talk about a trade that the Dodgers made this week. We're going to talk some under the radar targets that Blake and I have identified, guys that aren't names we've necessarily talked about on this show, or at least not in depth. We're going to ask the question of, with as much as Shane Baz went for, should the Dodgers actually consider trading from their starting pitching surplus? We're going to rank some World Series champion teams 2020, 2024, and 2025 as well. So lots to get into. We do have Mr. Classic just wants to point out that you have a red Dodgers hat.
This was a stadium giveaway, which is why I marked it. It's a CSUN here.
Oh, there you go.
Gotta rep my Matadors. No hate on the red and black Dodger hat.
Yeah, that's a Star Wars thing, huh? Those are the bad guys, though, Blake.
Nah, we're good. We're repping college.
Okay, go see son. Let's talk the trade. Dodgers trade Esteury Ruiz to the Marlins for Adriano Marrero. Ruiz came over in a trade about a year ago from the Oakland Athletics at the time in which the Dodgers sent Carlos Duran to Oakland. Of note, Carlos Duran, as a minor league free agent, re-signed with the Dodgers this year. So the Dodgers trade Duran, get Ruiz, re-sign Duran, trade Ruiz for Marrero. Marrero, an 18-year-old out of Cuba, signed for $350,000, which is not an insignificant amount of money. This is a trade that a lot of non-Dodgers people, just like national baseball people that pay attention to guys like Adriano Marrero, they seem to like this for the Dodgers, Blake.
Yeah, I didn't know much about him when I first heard the trade, but when I started digging into it, it seems like an absolute steal for the Dodgers. And I know we're talking about like an 18-year-old kid. There's a ton of possibilities that could come out of this. Like he could just completely flame out and everything. We know that happens with prospects all the time, but he's very intriguing or interesting, whatever word you want to use. And to get a prospect like that for a guy who the Dodgers would probably have just DFA'd in a week or two anyways with Ruiz, like it's a huge win. Marrero is a pitcher that the StatCast data just absolutely loves. His TrackMan data is elite. He has a 3,000 RPM slider, which means it moves a ton. His curveball has a ton of movement. He even has an average changeup there, so that's already 3 good breaking ball off-speed pitches that he can work with. For an 18-year-old, the command is really good. The concerns are kind of with the sync. He doesn't always sync up his mechanics well, which young pitchers, like that's going to probably come with time if he can develop that. And his fastball's only in the upper 80s. But again, he's 18, he's 6'3", and he's like 180 pounds. So there's projection there for him to grow it out into his frame more. And then you can kind of project velocity to pick up there. So this is the guy who has a real chance to be a starting pitcher at the major league level at some point in his career. It's not saying he's going to get to that ceiling. He could end up being a reliever. He could end up never making it past single A, but that kind of intriguing prospect for a guy you can get like that, you're trading Ruiz to get him. It's just a huge win for the Dodgers. And this is why they're always one of the top teams in baseball. It's not just the money aspect of things. It's they're going out and making trades that are smarter than everyone else. They're giving up players they don't want, who don't have a role on the team for intriguing prospects. Like that's what every team should be trying to do.
Yeah. With Ruiz, I had him tagged at the beginning of this offseason as a guy the Dodgers might just DFA at some point because they need the 40-man roster. He had a huge year at AAA, a 300, 400, 500 / 62 steals. He has 4 years of team control, but he has only one option year remaining, and he had just 23 plate appearances at the major league level last year when the Dodgers were desperate for outfield help. And so the fact that they were able to get anything of, I mean, I'll just start with anything in return for Esteury Ruiz is impressive. And then to go step further, and it's not just that they got something, it's they got a guy that the Ben Badlers of the world are intrigued by, like you said, that have some of these raw numbers, this athleticism, even the $350,000 bonus. Like that's not an insignificant number on the international free agent market. It reminds me a few years ago when the Dodgers traded Caleb Ferguson to the Yankees, and they got back a 19-year-old by the name of Christian Zazueta, who hopefully I'm pronouncing that somewhat close. But if you follow the Dodgers farm system, Zazueta is a guy this year that made a leap. This was the Ferguson trade was what, 2 years ago? February of 2024. So 2 off seasons ago, they trade Ferguson for a 19-year-old. Well, this guy is kind of a skyrocketing arm in the Dodgers organization now at the age of 21. So this is reminiscent of that. Now, there's probably 12 other times they've traded for an 18-year-old pitcher that you and I have never heard of again in their life. But the bottom line for me, Blake, is they got something. And the fact that it's an intriguing name, athletically, traits, the spin data, that kind of stuff. This is peak Andrew Friedman. It's not the big trades to me, Blake, that separate him. It's these little things where he trades Duran, gets Ruiz, re-signs Duran, and then ships Ruiz out, all the while freeing up a 40-man roster spot, by the way.
Yeah, like if they were to sign someone tomorrow or something like that, they would have just had no problem DFAing Ruiz. He doesn't have any role on the team. He was just clogging up a 40-man spot. So to get a prospect for him, an intriguing prospect, it's just kind of mind-boggling that they were able to pull that off. I feel like the Marlins just could have waited. I don't think they would have had a whole lot of competition to go get Ruiz if the Dodgers ended up releasing him or when they ended up releasing him. So yeah, just incredible work by the front office there. And again, that's not even saying like Marrero is going to become something. If there's the highest chance he's going to flame out. Like, that's just the reality with every prospect. But to add value to the organization, he could be a trade chip in another deal going forward. And again, this is the Dodger pitching development system. It's the top 3 development system in baseball with pitchers. So, like, adding that kind of intriguing prospect to this organization, it's just really smart by the front office.
Jeff, the janitor, Spiegel 4742 wants you to know that he loves you, Blake, by the way. And I guess I shouldn't assume he might be a girl. He or she might love you. Shout out to Michael Grove, former Dodger, in the picture there.
Appreciate the love.
There you go. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk under the radar targets. This was an idea of yours, which I appreciated, which is who's a guy that we aren't talking about who could be a target for the Dodgers? If hypothetically, the guys who we think are available via trade end up not being moved, some of the top free agents, the Kyle Tuckers, Bo Bichette's of the world, sign elsewhere. Who's an under the radar player, starting pitcher, relief pitcher, position player, whatever, that the Dodgers might target? Jorge Polanco was one of those names for me a couple of weeks ago. He has since signed. I like Ha-Seong Kim. He got $20 million, so he wouldn't really fit this category that much either. I have 4 names that I don't love any of these, which I guess is why they're under the radar. But I will let you go first in case one of my 4 names is your name. So give me your under the radar target for the Dodgers, Blake.
Yeah, so my target is Luis Rengifo. He's a free agent. He's a guy the Dodgers.
I actually think I put Luis Rengifo as an under the radar target like a month ago. This is lovely.
I feel like he's a guy we've kind of talked about a little bit every year, but it was always the Angels aren't going to trade with the Dodgers type thing. And they did try and complete a deal together, and then Artie Moreno said no. He was in the deal with Andy Pajes and Ross Stripling and Jack Peterson back however many years ago, but the guy who can play pretty much every position on the field, third, second, right, left, short, center, for all the positions he played last year. He had a down year, dealt with some injuries, but from 2022 to 2024, he hit 273, 323, 431 with a 111 weighted runs created plus. So solid production overall. He's not going to like come in and save a lineup or anything, but this is the kind of guy you add to your team that can play anywhere, give you a backup in any position. He can potentially be a starting caliber player, and he just fits what the Dodgers do. And like I said, he's a guy they've tried to acquire in the past, so I think there could be some interest there, and they don't really know what's going on with second base at the moment. It could be Kim, it could be Edman. Kind of a toss-up. You add another mix in there. You need a backup for Muncy at third base. He's missed some time with injuries the past few years. You got Rengifo there. You need a starter in left field. Rengifo could be that guy. So, yeah, he was my under-the-radar target. I think it makes sense for them, whether they end up doing it or not. Probably going to lean toward no side of things just because their position player group is pretty filled out. They're probably going to bring back Kike. I think that's obvious. They brought back Miguel Rojas already. They have Ha-Seong Kim and Tommy Edman, so that would be the reason why they wouldn't do it, but I think he would fit the team really nicely.
I love it. I went back and found it November 20th. You can check the notes. Luis Rengifo was on my list for all the reasons you just mentioned. Probably second base is his main position, but we've talked about on this show, the Dodgers could use someone there. The other piece you mentioned, Muncy, he could be a guy who spells Max Muncy against lefties. He has historically crushed left-handed pitching in his career, 150 weighted runs created plus or higher for 3 consecutive seasons against left-hand pitching. Probably a 1-year deal type of guy. So I love the Rengifo pick by you right there, Blake. I'm a little bit jealous that I forgot he was my under-the-radar guy a month ago. But some other names I mentioned, a couple of them, or I should say the first one is very similar, is Willie Castro. Won't turn 29 until after the season starts. He literally played everywhere last year: shortstop, second base, third base, left, center, right. Had fielded in all of those positions, coming off of a bad 2025, which was really an atrocious second half of 2025, where he was a well below average hitter. But basically every number but walk rate went the wrong way. But was a 106, 107 weighted runs created plus guy the 2 seasons before. Has some speed, hits 10 home runs. Switch hitter, can probably be had for $7-ish million a year, maybe a 1 or 2 year deal. Very much a similar argument for Castro as it would be for Rengifo. Any interest? Does Willie Castro move the needle for you at all? This guy was an all-star a couple of years ago.
Move the needle, no, but I mean, we're talking under the radar guys here. I do like Willie Castro a lot. I think he would be a nice fit for the bench. he probably has a bit of a higher upside than Rengifo, and I think he was even better than him last year. So he's probably going to be a little more expensive, but yeah, he's a guy who I think would fit nicely as well. Pretty much the same arguments, like you said, is Luis Rengifo, just a guy who can play everywhere, provides a solid bat. You're not going to get like super high upside with him, but just a solid player to have around. And they're basically just two better Kikes essentially, which that's why it makes it tough when we're talking about how they fit on the roster because they have Kike. They're gonna have Kike, I should say. So that's the difficulty of trying to fit them on the team. And they're already going to add a position player in the outfield, so it's not like you can just say, well, they're your primary left fielder because they're going to get someone better.
Two other names I put on here in the outfield market because I was scrounging, like, are there outfielders they could sign if all of their other targets move on? We are comparing them to Alex Call and Ryan Ward after all, so the bar is not particularly high. The two names I wrote down were Austin Hayes, corner outfielder, not terrible defensively. 4 of the last 5 seasons has been above average offensively, hit 15 home runs last season. The underlying stuff isn't very good, but again, it's probably a 1-year deal. He's much like Alex Call, probably a platoon guy who only plays against left-handed pitching, and you already have Alex Call. I'm not the biggest Alex Call fan in the world. I'm guessing the Dodgers like him enough to have traded for him, but Austin Hayes is one name. The other name is Max Kepler, left-handed hitting outfielder, corner outfield type, 18 homers last year in 127 games, 10% walk rate. He's the opposite of Hayes. He's been a below average hitter for 4 of the past 5 years, but he's always kind of hovering right around league average. So Hayes and Kepler, I would say both of those guys would represent upgrades over the Alex Call, Ryan Ward platoon that we're discussing, but I don't know if they're big enough upgrades to justify going out and signing somebody new.
Yeah, with either of them, I would probably just stick with Alex Call and Ryan Ward, I think. I don't think the upside is there to justify like going out and signing them. Yeah, I mean, maybe Hayes a little bit more than Kepler because Kepler hasn't been very good at all recently.
Yeah.
I used to like Max Kepler a lot. I thought he was a swing change guy who could break out if he increased his launch angle a bit, but that never happened. And maybe the Dodgers think they could do that now and it would be similar to their Conforto signing, and we know how that worked out. So yeah, I feel like I would rather give Call and Ward a chance to be the everyday starter than go sign these guys just because I don't think the upside is that much greater than what they have. So you'd probably just leave the spots open and then hope to find something at the trade deadline if it doesn't work out.
The fourth name on my list makes no sense from a roster perspective, from a numbers perspective, but I wanted to say Chris Bassett so badly, 36-year-old starting pitcher, 3.96 ERA across 31 starts. Underlying stuff said he was a little worse than that. I wrote him down because he was the Blue Jays reliever, Blake, that I was most terrified of the entirety of the World Series. And he's probably going to get 15 to 20 million bucks a year, and someone's going to pay him to be a starter. But I wanted to write Chris Bassett down just because of how scared he was genuinely their best reliever in the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get paid as a starter, like you said.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense from the Dodger standpoint because they have a lot of starters, and we're going to talk about how they have so many starters they might trade one. But yeah, he was really good. If we want a super under the radar guy, I have to say it, Joey Gallo out there turning into a pitcher. Give him a chance as a reliever. He always had a good arm. See what he can do. And worst case scenario, you have a reliever who can also come off the bench and be a defensive outfielder or hit a homer for you here or there. So yeah, versatility, two-way player.
Minor league deal?
Yeah.
Hey, if we're I got lots of names for minor league deals if we want to go down that road. But I respect your commitment to the Joey Gallo fan club, Blake.
I think Brett Phillips is also going down that same track as a guy turning into a pitcher, and he was a really good defensive outfielder. He had some speed, so pinch runner, pitcher, defensive sub. Get it done, Friedman.
Is Brett Phillips is the one? Didn't he go play for the Savannah Bananas?
I'm not sure. I only remember Brett Phillips being the guy who had the walk-off off Kenley in the 2020 World Series.
I feel like he played. No official tie to the Savannah.
They've had a lot of players go for the Savannah Bananas. So,
are you a Bananas fan, Blake?
Yeah, I think they're cool.
Would you
Good
go
to
to a
grow the
game?
game. I haven't been to any games. I went to the Disneyland event when they were there, though.
Okay, so you would go to a Bananas game if things lined up.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. I like it. You kind of teased it. Oh, here we go. Nicholas with the super chat. Boba Fett playing for the evil empire just makes sense.
Thank you,
These are
Boba
different. What's that?
I think he's saying Bo Bichette for the Dodgers. Makes sense. So.
I thought this was a reference to your hat. This makes more sense. So there you go. I was like, that I'll just gonna let Blake take the lead on that one. So good catch on the Bo Bichette thing. You kind of referenced it. This is another question that we wanted to talk about. Should the Dodgers capitalize on a seller's market when it comes to starting pitchers? The Shane Baz trade, and apologies, I screwed up the pronunciation of his name last time we talked about him. The Rays got an absolute haul for Baz. 3 years of team control left, all arbitration years. In exchange for him, they got Baltimore's top 2 draft picks from the 2025 draft, numbers 30 and 37 overall. They get the number 33 pick in the 2026 draft and 2 more prospects, number 11 and 30 in the system, according to MLB Pipeline. All for a guy in Baz who, frankly, the surface level numbers, Blake, have not been very good, which begs the question, should the Dodgers see that and say, man, what the heck could we get for Emmett Sheehan? What the heck could we get for Justin Robleski or River Ryan, or go down the list? Some would say the Dodgers can never have too much starting pitching. What would you say?
I would probably be on that train of thought because a lot of the guys they have are coming back off injuries or have injury histories. We've seen every year the Dodgers have 17 starters, and then by July they're trading for 3 more. So I would be hesitant to trade any of the starters they have unless it's for a significant impact player. I would, and I don't think that player is available. So I would be very, very hesitant to trade any of them, especially Emmett Sheehan. You could maybe talk me into River Ryan or Gavin Stone or Kyle Hurt, but I just don't think there's a player worth any of them on the market who is realistically available to go justify trading them.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Dodgers are probably in a similar boat. Like maybe you get Jarren Duran, but he's coming off a down year. There's questions about his defense and hustle, and he's a platoon bat. So I wouldn't trade any of the starters for a platoon guy, pure platoon guy. And I don't think there's anyone else there who really justifies it.
This was the conversation Anthony and I had 2 days ago. The Jeff Passan report that Jarren Duran, the Red Sox are looking for a frontline starter. And so I asked Anthony, would you trade Emmett Sheehan for Jarren Duran? And he was like, absolutely not. And then I joked, I don't even know if Emmett Sheehan's enough for Jarren Duran. I wonder if you'd have to include something on top of the Dodgers side of that trade to go get him, just because of the overall production that Duran has put out there. But you've long been on the record that Duran, because of the platoon stuff, it sounds like primarily, is not a guy you're all that interested in.
Mainly the platoon stuff, but it's just kind of a mix of things. I mean, he just wouldn't be my top target. If he was cheap enough and they could get him, sure. But with the Red Sox reported asking costs for him, and even if you bring down that cost a bit, I just don't think it's worth it.
Do you like Abreu better than Duran?
I think so, yeah.
Like, would you trade Sheehan for Abreu?
Maybe. I'd have to look into it more. I'm gonna lean yes, but subject to change.
Yeah. Abreu is a harder one to quantify. I was just going to look up. Yeah, so Abreu's got 4 years of team control, which I believe is one more than Duran has. 4 years is what Emmett Sheehan has, I believe, left. So it's tough. I mean, that's the thing, right? In order to go get good players, you've got to be willing. I think as Dodger fans, maybe we're spoiled. I was about to say, to get good players, you have to give up good players. Traditionally, the Dodgers have not had to give up good players in order to go get good ones. But I think that's what makes it so challenging. What about that second tier? Like, once you move past, obviously, the 4 main starting pitchers, and then you get to Emmett Sheehan, who I think is in a tier of his own when it comes to young starting pitchers. When it gets to the next tier of Robleski, Kasparius, River Ryan, Gavin Stone, like, I don't think they're going to trade Roki Sasaki, but like, are those, would you be open to moving those guys in the right trade?
Probably. I think I'd be more open to trading Gavin Stone probably Ben Kasparius if we're talking him in this mix. I think Kasparius is probably more of a reliever swing man, as he's kind of shown. But out of like the pure starters, I think I'd be more willing to move Gavin Stone over Robleski or River Ryan. So yeah, in the right deal, I feel like anyone can be traded, but it's just it doesn't feel like that player is really out there available compared to just signing someone on the free agent market who could contribute a bit or waiting until the trade deadline. Like when we talk about the Dodgers, we're never talking about who's going to help them get to the playoffs. It's the conversation of who's going to help them in the playoffs. So you can wait till July and get your starting left fielder. It doesn't matter if you get him on January 7th or July 29th. Like it's just at the end of the day, this team's going to be in the playoffs and you just need someone to come make an impact in them. And you need starting pitchers to get you to that spot. So I'd rather have the starting pitching depth in the regular season. And then if you still have it in July and you need a left fielder, then you go trade for one and maybe you overpay a little bit more. But even by overpaying in July, you also get the benefit of having those young starters for the first few months of the season to help you get through it. So there's ways to look at it. Like if a perfect deal lines up for them this off season, like by all means go do it. But it's just tough for me to part with any of them if it's not for a real impact quality player.
Well, and I've said to echo that, obviously prices are going to be more expensive at the deadline is typically the argument. My counter argument is, but if I'm trading for a guy on August 1st, I know he's healthy on August 1st, which is the most important thing to me. I don't want a guy who is guaranteed to be healthy on March 31st. I want a guy who's guaranteed to be healthy on August 1st, or at least there's a timeline that says this player is going to be back a la Tommy Edman in the next, 4 weeks prior to the postseason. I think there's real value in a guy surviving the first 2/3 of the regular season and then going and trading for him if you're the Dodgers.
Yes, I would push back on that though, by there's still 2 months or whatever to get through before the playoffs start. So like we saw with Max Muncy in 2021, healthy until the very last day. And the only thing that matters for this team is being healthy in October. So yeah.
But if a guy is out for the year, then there's he's out for the year. There's no getting him back. So there's a smaller window to get hurt. That matters.
Yeah, but I think guys being out for the season happens way more for pitchers anyways than it does for position guys. So you could kind of say if we trade a position player or if we trade a pitcher for a position player, there's a higher risk he's going to be the one who makes it through the season healthy and through the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways to go back and forth on this. Regardless, the Dodgers are in a very good position with a lot of trade capital that they have, and they can kind of go get whoever they want. Like, I feel like the only impact player who could potentially be out there is Tariq Skubal, and I just don't think the Dodgers are going to be in that mix to get him. So, yeah.
Would you swim in the Skubal market?
Probably just because how good he is, and they do have the ability to re-sign him, but the cost is going to be insane. And like, how much of an upgrade? How much would he actually increase their chances of winning the World Series? Is it worth that cost?
Yeah,
probably not. I'd have to actually see a package and lay out ideas to really discuss it, but I'd probably lean a little more no, just because I don't think it increases their odds significantly.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Next topic for us here, Blake, is looking at the 3 World Series championship teams the Dodgers have had of late, 2020, 2024, and 2025. The question is posed, which of these 3 is the best of the 3? Obviously, 2020, shortened 60-game season. The bubble situation in Texas where the Dodgers end up going and winning the World Series. Then in 2024, they dispatch of the Yankees. And then, of course, 2025, taking down the Blue Jays. I will be honest. The best team of these 3 was very easy for me to come to. The second and third was a little bit harder for me to parse out. From your perspective, Blake, which of these 3 World Series champion teams do you have as the best?
Probably 2020. I think that's probably the easy one. And I think the easiest one for me would be saying 2025 was the worst.
Okay.
2024 right in the middle.
Okay. 2020 for me as being number 1, it's easy. That team was a wagon. 43-17 in the regular season. That's 116 win pace. Obviously, all the weirdness going on. That team was just absolutely dominant. It's the highest win percentage in franchise history. Again, 60 games, all the asterisks, all the caveats, etc., etc. 2020 was dominant for me. So that one was easy. 24 and 25 was tougher because one of these teams had no rotation and an incredible bullpen, and the other had no bullpen and an incredible rotation. Both times the offense was pretty mediocre. One team had a much easier pathway to the playoffs, as far as, I shouldn't say easier. One team handled their business on the way to the World Series much easier, but then struggled more in the World Series, vice versa. So that was actually tough for me. I think you said 2025 was worse. I have 2025 ahead of 2024 simply based on the starting rotation.
For me, I felt like the 2025 Dodgers had no business winning the World Series with how bad their offense was, how bad their
equally as
bullpen
bad
was.
in the World Series as 24.
For what?
The 24 and 25 offensive statistics are like identical.
Throughout the entire postseason?
At least in the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little different there. But the 2024 postseason run, I felt like their offense was pretty good throughout the entirety of it until maybe the World Series. They cooled off a bit, but like I felt really confident the Dodgers were going to win the 2024 World Series pretty much throughout the entire year. I didn't feel that same way in 2025, and especially not in the postseason. I think there was a lot more times they should have been eliminated or could have been eliminated in 2025, I should say. And they relied on a lot of like magical moments and kind of lucky things that probably wouldn't happen again to win them the World Series. I think 2024, they were just a lot more like dominant going through all the teams. They kind of ran through it a little bit more. So, yeah, I was confident in 2024. I wasn't confident in 2025.
It was the World Series, where basically the 24 World Series and 25 World Series, the Dodgers had almost identical offensive outputs. I think the thing that gets lost in the 2025 remembering because of the World Series going 7 games down 3-2, heading back to Toronto, was how much they cruised through the first however many rounds we want to call that of the playoffs. They were 10-1, I believe, was their record between wildcard, DS, and CS, which is one of the best marks of all time. So the 2024, of course, was down 2-1 to the Padres in the NLDS. So they faced a little bit more trouble. Of course, they dispatch of the Yankees in 5 games. So I have 24 and 25 pretty close. But I think the tiebreaker for me is I will just continue to take my chances with the version of Snell, Glasnow, Yamamoto, Ohtani as far as starting pitching goes. Knowing that, again, in the World Series, both offenses ended up struggling.
I think 2025 still struggled a bit more, though, if you have those numbers there.
Let's see. 2025 World Series, 85 weighted runs created plus, 204, 295, 380. 2024, 93 weighted runs created plus, 205, 296, 406. So, what'd I say? We got the slugging percentage went up. Was that? Yeah. So the slugging percentage was about 20 points higher. The on-base percentage and average were identical in 24 and 25.
They were scoring 5 runs a game in the 2024 World Series and 3.7 in 2025. I rest my case there.
Yeah, you love that number when it supports your argument.
I mean, like the 2025 Dodgers, they like realistically, without a miracle home run from like the most unlikely hero, this team doesn't win. Like 2024, even when they're struggling in the World Series, I don't think there is ever a moment where people were like, oh yeah, they're definitely going to lose this World Series.
So just to be clear, when you put your run stat of World Series to World Series, 5-game series against the Yankees, and you're giving the Dodgers credit for all of the unearned runs that they scored against the Yankees, right? You and BCNLU, who says I'm getting owned. We're just counting those. All the errors, Aaron Judge dropping the ball, Garrett Cole brain fart, the throw to third. We're just offense, awesome offense.
I mean, sure, but they've also had some good games previously in those World Series, so like, I'm just talking about it kind of vibes based more so. Like,
fair.
I was confident in 2024 the entire way, And even in game 5, when they're down 5-0, like if they lost that game, they were heading back to LA with Yamamoto lined up for game 6. Like I was confident they were going to get it done. They had no business winning in 2025. Their offense didn't hit throughout the entirety of the postseason. It wasn't just like the World Series or one series here and there. They were just really bad offensively the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. We know how negative and pessimistic you were about the 2025 Dodgers. They end up coming back and winning. It's hard to compare some of these things because you're comparing a different Yankees team to a different Blue Jays team, different environments, different situations that both teams are placed in. But I am not like I said I had 24 and 25 neck and neck. Starting pitching is the edge for me. If you want to say, hey, I'll take worse starting pitching, a better bullpen, and a slightly better offense, then more power to you. I think for me, like I said, 2020 is the easy answer for this one. And then 24 and 25, eat your heart out as far as statistics and numbers and which ones you want to value on that one. All right. Last thing before we get to some questions here, I want to get your thoughts because we have not gotten them yet on the Dodgers all quarter century team that we have been releasing. If you are new here, welcome. Every Monday through Friday for the past few weeks, we've been releasing one player from our top 25 players of the first 25 asterisk 26 years of the 21st century. We are through number 15. Andre Ethier posted today. I will go up from there. Ethier 15.
We've got through 14. Walker Buehler posted also.
Walker Buehler, excuse me. Buehler 14. Ethier 15. Gagne 16. Sean Green 17. Manny Ramirez 18. Gary Sheffield 19. Adrian Gonzalez 20. Yasiel Puig, Chris Taylor, Russell Martin, Kike Hernandez, and Miguel Rojas rounding out. We have not released the guys who just missed, so I think some people will still be surprised by names that they assume are going to come further up on this list, and they will not. But of those names that I just shared, starting at 14 with Walker Buehler on down, who would you say is the most surprising name to you, either that they're on the list at all or how high or low they are ranked?
I'm surprised we got Miguel Rojas on the list. Like, yeah. Awesome dude. Had some magical moments for the team. Like I just mentioned, he basically saved their season. He did save their season. He's not a top 25 Dodger of the last decade or quarter decade. Like, there's just no way. And then I also made the case, like, if we're including Miguel Rojas for his heroics, then why was I the only one who had Blake Treinen on my list there? Like, he was the best reliever on 2 World Series teams. They probably don't win either of them without him. His heroics in 2024 helped them win the World Series. Like, if you're putting Miguel Rojas on, I feel like you had to put Blake Treinen on. That was my biggest gripe. I didn't have Agon in my top 25. He was good, but not amazing. He didn't have any amazing moments or accomplishments with them. So I didn't love that one.
What was your criteria? Because part of this, as we've discussed, as we've unpacked with different people, the criteria is different. Regular season versus postseason. Do big moments matter? Quantity versus quality. Off the field contributions, a guy like Adrian Gonzalez, I think the people who had him, I could speak for myself, had a lot more to do with like what he represented, both as a Mexican-American playing for the Dodgers, but then also the trade that brought him over and sort of the steadying presence he was in the middle. So for you, like what would you say were your criteria, your priorities when it came to ranking guys?
I think I valued postseason the highest because, like, at the end of the day, that's all people really care about. They could win 162 regular season games, but if they don't do well in the playoffs, no one's going to care about that team. It's going to be a failure of a season and everything. So definitely ranked playoffs highest. I tried to give people more credit if they were playing longer for the team and if they made a significant impact. Like, instead of, like we talked about Gary Sheffield before on the list, he was really good in a short period of time. Yeah. So I would put someone who was good over a longer period of time, but maybe not as good over a guy like that. It's hard because a lot of it still is so subjective and you can make cases each different way, but I tried to lean toward postseason guys who help them win rings with significant impacts and moments.
And yet no Miguel Rojas, who hit the biggest home run and made 2 of the biggest defensive plays in franchise history.
I didn't put any weight into saving Kershaw's no-hitter. Like,
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the double play, game 6 double play, and then throw home in game 7.
Okay, fair. He was on my honorable mention list.
Okay.
It's just he didn't make like really any impact in the regular season statistically.
Okay.
I know he's like a coach on the field and all that, and he's helped Mookie and a lot of guys, but we left out so many really good players. I tried to also value like the talent that they had and like how good the players were. I didn't want to just put on a list of guys like, oh yeah, they were good in the postseason, so they're going to be on the list, because like Brandon Morrow would be on the list then. So I feel like there had to be somewhat of a line of just being a postseason performer and also being around on the team for a while, being good in the regular season, even though I weighted that a little less. So, I mean, it's so subjective.
Did
You could
Kike
go
make
so
your
many
list?
different ways. Huh?
Did Kike make your list?
He did for the longevity.
Okay.
And he's up there in the leader on some of the postseason stats. So I had him at 24.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sitting here like I'm defending Rojas. I've said 12 times on this show. I did not have Rojas in. I did not have Kike or Chris Taylor on my list either. You could get me there on Rojas based solely off of the home run and then the 3 defensive plays if you count the Kershaw one, which I do. But that's the beauty of this exercise, right? Like Chris Taylor and Gary Sheffield are 4 numbers apart on this list. And it's like, how in the world do you compare 2 years of Gary Sheffield, one of which where he was like in the MVP conversation, one of the best offensive seasons any Dodgers had in the last 25. He hit like 80 home runs in 2 years, to Chris Taylor, who was like, had a couple really good years, but mostly was like a solid Major League Baseball player. He just did it for 10 years in Los Angeles. Those are the hardest comparisons for me to make. I had Sheffield higher than Taylor, but I understand. Like, you could kind of convince me of either one if you wanted to.
Yeah, I didn't have Sheffield on the list just because it was such a short time that he was with the team. I had Chris Taylor 19th because he represented a lot of what the Dodgers wanted to do and were trying to be for a while. He had some postseason moments. He won 2 rings with them. He was good for like a 6-year period. So I put value in him there. I didn't have Russell Martin on the list. I know he made it. I had him on my original list, but I think Anthony talked me out of it. I think you guys were having the debate on him.
Yeah.
I didn't have Kevin Brown on my list originally. I think you talked me into putting him on. I really wanted to make my case for Chad Billingsley, so I put him as an honorable mention. He was good for a while. If you look up his stats, it would surprise you. He's like 3rd in innings in the last 25 years for the team and like 4th or 5th in ERA among starters or something. Like, he was really good for a long time, but he didn't do anything to help them win a World Series or anything like that. So I couldn't justify it at the end of the day putting him on. I mean, I didn't have Hyunjin Ryu on mainly because he was really bad in the postseason for the entirety of his contract there. It's really difficult to go back and like rank these guys because each one you could make a case like he was so good here, but he didn't do this, or he played this long, but he didn't do this kind of thing. Like, I could make my same list 10 different ways probably and like defend it anyway. So it was a fun exercise. I think I was the only one who put my number 1 there. So that'll be fun.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't spoil that. Although Matt might have already
to that one.
Yeah. I mean, I've said, like, the way I started was I looked at just as a baseline wins above replacement in your Dodgers tenure over the last 25 years. That was just a starting point for me as the chief reference point. Not because I only valued that, but I think it's like a helpful, who are the most valuable players as Dodgers. Then you have to get to, again, like Andre Ethier is number 15 on this list and Gary Sheffield is 19 on this list. Andre Ethier at no point was anywhere close to as good as Gary Sheffield was. But Gary Sheffield played for 2 years that we're counting, and Andre Ethier played for a bunch. And so how do you value those things, I think, is where it gets interesting. Manny Ramirez, of course, nowhere near the top 25 when it comes to wins above replacement. But anybody who lived through Mannywood would tell you he belongs on this list. And that's where the back and forth goes. Adrian Gonzalez, I think fair arguments. Russell Martin, I think fair arguments. We all ended up landing in different places And it's because we value different things. Sebastian has come on here and basically said, I value just pure talent. So he had names on there that nobody else had on there because it's like, well, yeah, that guy was really good and he happened to play for the Dodgers, but he wasn't necessarily really good for the Dodgers for a long period of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really difficult exercise in total. I think I was probably the person who changed my list the most from all the debates we were having, and I was probably bringing up the most debates about specific guys, and everyone was telling me to like calm down a little bit with them. So yeah, I was having a lot of fun with it. It's difficult. Like anyone who wants to criticize our lists, I recommend you go make your own list and debate with us because it's fun. You could make so many different cases for so many different players. They've had a lot of really good players in the last 25 years. Like there's players who aren't on the list that I would strongly argue should be on the list, and there's guys on that I would argue are too high, or maybe you should flip them. So yeah, a lot of fun.
I see Ross saying, I want to see Blake's list. We are not publishing our lists because we want there to be a buildup to the reveal as we get to number one. Once number one comes out, we are going to do at least one show that's kind of guys who didn't make, because Blake has just mentioned a number of players, some of whom are yet to be revealed on the list, and some of whom some of you may be surprised to find are not on the top 25 at all. And so, like I said, 14 posted today. So 2 weeks after this one left of these reveals, and then we can talk more freely about where we had individual players ranked and all that kind of a thing. So
I can post my list on who I had through 14 if you have yours up and want to post it.
Well, because I don't want to, I'd rather not. Like we've made an intentional effort not to discuss or post those types of things. So let's hold off. There will be plenty of time. We will be finished the second week of January, so we'll still have a month and a half left. But I joked with friends. Like as soon as I finished my list, Matt kind of pitched the idea to me. Hey, we're going to do this on the website. What do you think about the video side? And so I'm like, boom, I start doing my list. And I immediately texted a friend and I was like, I irrationally care way too much about where I have some of these players ranked immediately. But what was funny was like, I was fully prepared. You mentioned Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez was 25th on my list. I was fully prepared to like go to battle for Adrian Gonzalez because I assumed nobody else was going to have him ranked for all the reasons you said. Like from a WAR perspective, it doesn't make sense. He never had these peaks or any of it. But I was ready to battle. And then I was like, damn, I think I was like the low man on Adrian Gonzalez. I thought I was going to be the high man. So it's pretty funny how all that comes out. And then you get to, again, I know people love Kike, but I was like, we're talking Kike Hernandez with 25 best Dodgers of the last 25 seasons. Rojas, same thing. I'm like, seriously? There's guys that got left off this list that I had like 7 spots ahead of all the rest of them. But that's the beauty of it. I got talked into it. Rojas is somebody I've changed my tune on. He would probably make my list. I don't know who I'd take off. We haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, it's been a fun exercise to say the least.
Yeah, I still don't even like love the list I submitted fully. Like I could be talked into changing it, and I probably would change it a bunch of times again if I could. But that just kind of shows how difficult it was and how many different considerations there were for putting into it. And yeah, it's been fun.
I love it. All right, all caps questions. Throw those in the chat. We will get to them. I want to ask you one, Blake, and I'm not going to comment on this. For those that don't know, Thursday is New Year's Day. We will not have a live show Thursday night, but Matt Moreno and I will be posting a Mailbag Part 2 episode. We have requested exclusively non-baseball questions. So if you have any of those, leave them in the comments below. Send them to me at Jeff Spiegel on Twitter. Blake, I will ask you, one of the questions our own Matt Peralta from Lakers Nation sent was they wanted Dodgers comps for the Dodger Blue staff. So I am limiting my own personal comps to people who regularly appear on the video side. So that would be you, it would be Scott, it would be Anthony, Daniel, Matt, Bruce. I think that's it. I'm just asking for you personally. Who do you think your comp? I'm going to reveal mine on Thursday, but who do you think your personal comp, like the list? It could be your baseball abilities. It could be personality type, however you want. Your own personal comp to a current Dodgers player.
I mean, if we're going on like ability and like talent within our system, I'm clearly Shohei. And if you don't recognize that one, then you're lost and I don't know what to tell you. If you're going by like personality.
I did not have Shohei for you. Just in case you were curious and wondering, you were not Shohei.
Well, you're wrong. If you're going personality-wise, I don't know, maybe Evan Phillips. He's a
Not your
nerd,
guy
and
Bonda?
it could be him too. I mean, one of Bonda's a little more like extroverted, I'd say, than I am.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
I'm taking into account people's contributions to the team that is Dodger Blue, personality type, ability, all of the above. So you'll have to stay tuned for my prediction.
someone said Will Smith. I could get behind that one.
Okay. Some people would take the personality comp to Will Smith as an insult.
I mean, it's probably is closer to me than others on the staff.
Fair. Okay, let's get to some questions. BMR asks, which player were you most irrational about? That's a good question on the top 25 list. I know we've talked about him. I was like, I argued for Russell Martin. I think I was definitely the high person on Russell Martin. I just think he was good and didn't get enough love. Let me see. Let me look at my list.
Kevin Brown, definitely one you were arguing for a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who. Oh, that here. I'll look. I have my highest ranked players. Yeah, Kevin Brown, I was high on. And Yasmani Grandal was another player. Brown and Grandal, I think, were guys that I was probably higher on than most.
Yeah, I really wanted to put Grandal on my list. He was really good in the regular season, but then like every time I just thought like he got benched in the postseason for Austin Barnes. Like he lost his job in the playoffs.
Yeah.
How can I put this guy on my list? So
Hey, so did Will Smith.
yeah, I mean,
Past tense.
it's tough.
Richard says, enough with the list. Ohtani is number one. That's all that matters. Put the fantasy trades away. Who's playing left field? It's as empty as Manny's moral values. Someone on the show may disagree with Ohtani being number one on this list, just as a heads up. One of us doesn't disagree with Ohtani being number one. But Blake, who's playing left field?
As of today, Ryan Ward.
Opening day. Opening day. What's the plan in left field?
It could be any of the targets we heard about, and I have no clue who's in the lead. Okay. I'll say Lars Nootbaar just because.
There you go. Gosh, Blake, we're kind of agreeing on stuff. Nootbaar's my guy. So I like it.
I think he's like the worst of the options available, but like cost-wise, I think they'll care about and upside and all that fun stuff. I don't know. I just don't see them paying the Quan or Duran prices. I don't think Tucker's happening. Yeah.
Let's see. Ross wants to know, which sabermetician would you like to have a conversation about player analytics? Is there a nerd out there, Blake, that you would like to chat with?
Eno Saris with The Athletic is really cool. Let me pull something up. Do you have an answer for this?
We've had Eno on. He's great. I think he's really smart. I mean, obviously Lance Brodsdowski, who we've had on a bunch, I think is really smart. I know he's not the most popular, but I liked Mike Petriello before he was on all the ESPN stuff back when he was, I believe, was writing for Mike Scioscia's Tragic Illness, Dodgers blog. So, anyways, I enjoyed his stuff prior. Some people don't love the StatCast type stuff that he does, but he seems like a good dude.
So I've been watching Michael McKelvey on YouTube.
Okay.
Really fun. He makes sports videos and it's all based on data and he like puts it in real life. I think you can see it there.
There you go.
He's been fun. So I think it'd be cool to talk to him too.
Not baseball specific though on him.
No, he does every sport.
Cool. Elishiva wants to know, is it possible the Dodgers don't sign another outfielder? If I had to give you like internal options or an external option, and those just binary, one or the other, you don't have to pick what the external option is. What do you think happens between now and opening day?
They'll acquire someone. I'm pretty confident about that, but I think it'll be trade, but they'll get someone.
Okay. Elishiva also asks, will the D-backs compete in a real way with the Dodgers in 2026? Aren't they selling? They're selling their best player, Ketel Marte. So, I don't know. I'm skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, any team could end up competing with them, but I don't think they're going to end up like overtaking them.
Let's see. Jay asks, you guys think that whoever you choose as number one in the all quarter century team is the most subjective pick? I'm not quite sure I understand what this question is asking. I know what the words mean. How do you interpret this?
I think it's saying like it's who we're picking as number one, like have the most like opinion behind it and not super fact based kind of thing.
Okay. I would say that the number one person was one person short of being unanimous, if that's an answer to this question.
Yeah, that one person, man.
Stick in the mud, some people are saying. BL asks, we have hoarded prospects for years. Why not knock the Twins socks off with an offer for Buxton? Zero reason this can't happen. Your thoughts?
The Twins said they're not trading their good players. I would love Buxton, but I think by knock their socks off, you're probably talking Emmett Sheehan plus Dalton Rushing plus whatever else just to get them to say yes. So probably not worth it at that point.
Dalton Rushing was an interesting conversation that Anthony and I had as well. Where are you at on Dalton Rushing?
I don't think he's a bust just because he was bad or anything like that. So I want to preface it with that. They should have traded him when he had his most value, and they could have got like a Garrett Crochet or something. I would still trade him if there was a team that wanted him. Like, I just don't see the value in having such a highly regarded prospect position player guy being your backup catcher. And I know that's like they want to protect Will Smith and all that, but the differences in games played with Dalton Rushing and Austin Barnes as the backup for Will Smith was like very minimal. So I thought a lot of that was overblown. Just go sign a backup catcher. Like you could have kept Ben Rortvedt to catch 60 games in the regular season and they would have the same outcome in the season that they would with Dalton Rushing. So I just don't get their logic with him.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Back to back, which Dodgers storyline are you most excited for in 2026? Besides, can they three-peat?
I would like to see if Mookie bounces back or the regression continues. I wouldn't say I'm excited for that, but I think it's like intriguing and interesting. And Shohei three-peat MVP awards, I guess four-peat because he won with the Angels, right? And the year before he came. Yeah, I mean, probably Ohtani. Watching Ohtani play baseball is always exciting, so probably that one.
He did win AL MVP in 2023 as well. 2021, 2020. Wait, did he win 21, 22, and 23? Hold on.
I thought Judge won a year in there or something.
No, yeah, sorry. 21 and 23. So there you go. And then 25.
I would like to see a full season of Ohtani pitching. I think that might be the most exciting thing.
Okay. I think the young guys are the storyline. Like, what does Emmett Sheehan have in store for another year would be a big one. Dalton Rushing, who we just talked about. I still like Alex Freeland, so I'm sort of hopeful that he gets a chance to play at some point. I'm not super optimistic about the Alex Call Ryan Ward experiment out there. So Alex Freeland, Ha-Seong Kim, Roki Sasaki, I think is like super fascinating. What happens with him? Like, is he good? Would be something to watch. Gavin Stone, River Ryan coming back from injuries. So I think there's lots of things to keep an eye on. Not necessarily at the major league level, because half the guys I just mentioned won't necessarily be at the major league level. But yeah, some stuff to watch in spring training, that kind of a thing. Noisy Ninja asks, what would be your walk-up song, Blake?
I mean, how cool would it be to walk up to Imperial March? Star Wars Darth Vader's song, for those who probably know that better. That would be fun. Really love Paramore, so I could be convinced of one of those songs. Like, Ain't It Fun, maybe. Be cool. I would want to do something fun. So, yeah, something along those lines.
I always thought Right Now by Van Halen, which was like the Chicago Bulls song back in the day. The Dodgers played it at Dodger Stadium at one point. I just think that's like absolutely electric. Probably weird as a walk-up song, but I like the Shabuzi song that was it Max Muncy, I think, had that one this year as the walk-up song. It's a great song. So there you go. Okay, we got a handful more here, and then we got some non-baseball questions. BMR asks, if the Dodgers had signed Anthony Rendon, did they win any of the last 3 championships?
Probably still. They probably won at least one.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers would have figured it out. Ross wants to know, what does Freddie Freeman have to do to go in into the Hall of Fame as a Dodger?
Win an MVP and at least one more World Series, plus probably play a few years more with them.
Really? So you think him just playing out his contract, the Dodgers don't win any more World Series, you don't think he's a Dodger?
No, I think he'd go in with no logo on his hat. I think he still cares enough about the Braves and respects them to not slight them. I think probably regardless of what he does, he's going to go in with no logo on his hat just because the Braves meant so much to him.
Yeah.
But the accomplishments with the Dodgers have been very impressive.
Laker Toby says, thanks for a great year. Usually like Blake's hat, but red isn't his color. Also, question Matt's fandom sometimes. He's the head of a Dodgers YouTube channel, but never wears any gear. Is it just me? Thoughts? Do you want to defend your red hat? Do you want to defend Matt not ever wearing Dodger gear?
I'll defend Matt and the red hat by throwing on my yellow Diamondbacks hat.
Do you want to put your Padres hat on while you're at it?
I have the Dodger Padre hat from when they played internationally, but I don't have a straight up Padre hat.
Okay. Do you have a Giants hat? I feel like I've asked you this question.
No, I don't.
Okay. Matt's a professional. He's a consummate professional. He sits in the press box in games. No Dodger hats for Moreno. I'm assuming that's why he does it, right?
I think he's just not a hat person.
That could be true. That could be true as well.
People are mad about my hat. I got this while I was in Arizona. I try and get a hat from every stadium I go to. So I just keep it here next to me for the jokes whenever I need it. So
they should be mad, by the way. And he owns hats of other NL West teams. So yeah.
I own hats from a lot of teams.
Benedict Blake. It's a good one. So there you go. GI, will Ryan Ward be on the opening day roster?
No.
I don't think so either. Okay. I think we're down to food questions here. We'll just get this one out. Loan Specialist wants to know, Blake, how far will the Patriots go in the playoffs? Will their playoff run be shorter or longer than Stephon Diggs' prison sentence?
Next question, please.
How far will the Patriots go in the playoffs?
I think they can beat the Chargers. After that, we'll see. I don't want to comment on all the Diggs stuff and everything, but disappointing.
Would you? Okay. Yeah.
I hope it's not true, and I am still optimistic about the Patriots.
As far as Diggs, they're not doing anything about the Diggs thing right now, right?
That we've heard or know of.
Okay. There we go. That's questionable organization, Blake. I don't know how you root for that kind of stuff.
Man, your team had Henry Ruggs, so we can get into all this. And
It's true. Elishiva wants to know, does Blake like eggnog?
No.
And you're not a rum guy either.
I don't drink any alcohol, so no.
Yeah, I'm not an eggnog person. I suppose if there was rum in it, I might be slightly more intrigued, but there you go. Jay wants to know, was that Gatorade that you were drinking earlier?
No, it's Mio lemonade stuff.
Okay. I got accused of drinking Diet Coke. That was iced tea, by the way. We're iced tea at all hours over here. Here we go. John, this is just like the Blake fan club tonight. Favorite Lego Star Wars set purchases. Which ones are on your 2026 buy list? I will note, I have to tell the story. Blake and I were at spring training together last year, and there was a Lego store of some sort. It wasn't an actual Lego store.
It was like a secondhand Lego store.
Blake went, I believe, purchased one thing and came home and could not stop thinking about an item that he did not purchase, and then immediately went back the next day and purchased it. And I don't think those were the only 2 sets you went home from. You may have ended up with I think you had like 3 or 4.
I think I got 3.
Yeah.
Because one was cheap. But the one I really wanted was expensive, and I had to think about it, so.
And he didn't stop thinking. So, favorite recent Lego Star Wars purchase, Blake?
It's Chopper. He's my favorite character. I started building him yesterday, actually. So yeah, definitely that one. On
What is
my
Chopper?
buy list,
Oh, this is R2D2.
kinda. It's similar vein there, but yeah.
What's he from?
Star Wars Rebels
Okay.
and the Ahsoka series now.
Okay.
On my buy list, I would love the Republic Attack Venator, but that's like $600, so I'm probably not going to get it.
Okay. Somebody, J Dog asks, our guy Jason wants to know, what did Blake's dad prepare for the culinary offering over the Christmas holidays?
He made honey baked ham and
Classic.
cheese potatoes. I forget what scalloped potatoes and cream corn.
Okay. Are you a honey baked ham guy?
Yeah, I like it. I like turkey and chicken more, so it's probably a hot take, but yeah.
Okay. David wants to know what's on the menu for dinner on New Year's Eve. David has surf and turf scheduled. I am going over to a friend's house who I believe has informed me that he's going to be making tacos, so nothing fancy. He did get a Ninja Creamy though, so we'll be eating some ice cream that he makes in that thing, which I'm excited about. And I'm sure I'm planning on bringing lots of snacks. So that's my plans. Blake?
I don't even know.
Okay.
I think I might have heard prime rib mentioned or something like that, but I can't fully confirm.
There you go. Jeff the Janitor Spiegel wants to know your top 3 Disneyland rides.
Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, Big Thunder Mountain, and just for a bit of a troll answer, Small World.
Classic. Hey, that's my 5-year-old. When she went as a 3-year-old, that was her favorite ride. So Ross wants to know, Blake, does pineapple belong on pizza?
Yes.
You love pineapple on pizza, don't you?
I wouldn't say love it, but I enjoy it.
Like, are you going out of your way to order it on things? Is Hawaiian?
I wouldn't go out of my way, but if they had it on the menu, I would get it. Probably, I'd consider it. Between that or like chicken.
Do you like Arnold Palmer's, Blake?
Yes, that is my favorite drink. I pretty much get that everywhere.
There you go. I like them. I prefer just regular unsweetened iced tea with a lemon, though. So I love this from El Shiva. Which new Dodgers do you want to meet first? Do you want to meet Edwin Diaz or what was the guy's name they traded for today that we talked about today? Which of those two guys?
Adriano Moreo. Yeah.
Or Ciani? What's that guy's name?
Oh, yeah. Ciani. Ciani will probably be a fun interview because like no one will want to talk to him. So
he'll be available.
Yeah. Those are always the fun interviews.
Lone Specialist wants to know what's your best Star Wars collector's item?
Best? I have a framed piece with the original signed cast, so it's got Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Alec Guinness, Harrison Ford, Peter Mayhew. Probably forgetting one. Oh, and Anthony Daniels and Kenny Baker, David Prowse. So that's probably the best one. I think that's definitely the most expensive one. But,
there you go. Okay, Ross, last question. What condiments do you put on your hot dog, Blake?
I'm mainly been a ketchup person. I do like them with like the nacho cheese because that's how they do it in the press box. I like onion.
To be clear, they just offer you nacho cheese and chips and hot dogs?
No, it's hot dogs, nacho cheese, and chili. They don't have chips out.
Oh, okay. Well, chili is an important ingredient in the next to the nacho cheese.
They have like the bag chips, but they're all like flavored ones, like Cheetos, Doritos. So they're not like ones you go dipping nacho cheese in generally.
Okay. Chili is an important context clue next to nacho cheese, next to hot dogs for me. So
I feel like I never see anyone get the chili though.
But people just throw nacho cheese straight onto a hot dog and just eat it.
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, it's just plain ketchup or plain nacho cheese. Those are the choices.
You have mustard and mayo and stuff, but I don't think anyone puts mayo on a hot dog. And
yeah. I was
gonna. You could go down to like.
I needed clarifying.
You could go down to like the field level and get the onions there or the relish if you wanted to.
No, but I mean for you, you're either plain ketchup or plain nacho cheese. Those are the two paths.
Probably with onion.
Okay, with onion. There you go. Yeah, I'll do just about anything. I was at Shake Shack the other day, and they had crispy onions and some sort of cheese sauce. That was an option. I was like, sure, why not? So there you go.
There's there's a local place here. It was on Guy Fieri's show where they do like all the different kinds of hot dogs and stuff, and they have one with mac and cheese on it that's pretty good.
Okay. I see BMR saying Shake Shack overpriced. I agree with you. As I've said on here, Shake Shack does an incredible job, or at least the last month. They've basically had spend $10 and you get a free burger. So if you're shopping for two people, you can get out of there for I was walking out with 2 burgers and fries for like $12 for the last month. So that's the context in which I've started eating Shake Shack, and it's very good when you're paying about $6 a burger. So there you go. All right, that is going to do it for us, folks. Yes, it is still a Dodgers show, Stanley. We appreciate you joining us at the hour 10 mark of the show. There will be another Dodgers.
30th.
What's that?
On December 30th, when
On
there's
December
tons of
30th.
stuff going on.
No, totally. We were joking beforehand that we've had some people in the chat. None of our, I wouldn't say none of the people that are here now, who during these shows will complain about how long we are taking to discuss Dalton Rushing's future or something. And it's like, man, folks, it's December 28th. Anthony and I are trying our hardest to give you an hour's worth of content here. So we appreciate the concern. We appreciate the feedback, and we're doing our best. We're doing our best. Hopefully the Dodgers do something fun soon, and we can talk about that. So happy New Year's, everyone. Like I said, we'll have a recorded mailbag episode for you on Thursday, and then we will be back next Sunday. I will be gone next week out of town. I have 2 random work trips in January. So the first week of January, third week of January, I'm basically out. So I will not be doing a live show for like almost 2 full weeks, which is a bummer for me. But eventually I will be back. A week from Sunday, I believe, will be my next one. But Matt will have you taken care of here. Anthony, Bruce, and I'm sure some fill-in appearances from Blake, Daniel,
I think Scott's hosting a few.
There you go.
I think I'm going to be on with Matt on the 4th. I think Scott's going to try and get me to come on his days. So,
what days is Scott doing Unplugged?
It's kind of random right now just because there's nothing going on.
Okay.
So, yeah, we don't want to do like the same shows over and over and over. So we'll see. We need some stuff to pick up here.
There you go. Hopefully, for all
after the holidays, we're supposed to get a podcast with a current player, World Series hero. We've been talking about that. So that's something to look forward to. Me and Scott will be doing that one.
Love it. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy New Year's. Again, be safe, be smart. Don't do anything stupid. Get people hurt, yourself hurt. Don't get yourself into trouble. But have some fun on New Year's, and we will see you in 2026. That is Blake. I am Jeff. Go Dodgers, and still champs.